Son Parshat Mishpatim, Limud Shabila Refuat, Tanya Bar Huda Margalit, Yosef Yair ben Aviva Chava, Rav Sivan ben Sima, Betoch Kol Shar Cholei Israel. If there are two parashot in the Sefer Torah where we experience tremendous contrast, it would be the two parashot of Yitro and Mishpatim. Both Yitro and Mishpatim are dealing with one experience, which was the lasting relationship between God and the Jewish people. But if we look at the difference between Yitro and Mishpatim, the Parsha of Yitro does not deal with any details. God says, I'm your God. We believe that God's our God. We get the 10 Dibrot, the 10 essential ideas. There's no details. There's no challenge of dealing with like the nitty-gritty of life. It's the general concept. Parshat Mishpatim, immediately after, is the most detailed parsha, maybe in the entire Torah. We have Masechtot, Baba Kama, Baba Metzia, Baba Batra, dealing with these 2.5 prakim in Sefer Mishpatim, in Parshat Mishpatim. So you look at these two parashot dealing with the same thing, building a relationship. And in one parsha in Yitro, building a relationship means the general idea. 10 dibrot, that's it. You open up Parshat Mishpatim, there are people stealing, there are people cursing at their parents, there's challenges of family, of nation, and these two parashot are one next to the other. And the question when we enter into this Parsha of Mishpatim is not what does it mean to create a relationship, but how do we make sure that a relationship will last? How can we be assured that what we have created is not just something that we conceptualize, but that we're able to make practical in our daily routines? So the Sefat Emet brings in a midrash that recognizes something that is incredible in the structure of the Torah. So the midrash says that if we look at the two parashot of Yitro and Mishpatim, right before Ma'amad Har Sinai, there's a story of Yitro. And in the story of Yitro, he speaks to Moshe about Mishpat. He speaks to him about the details of how to build a law system. Directly after that Mishpat is Ma'amad Har Sinai. And right after Ma'amad Har Sinai, we go into our Parsha Mishpatim. So says the Midrash, and later the Sefat Emet, if we look at the structure of the two parashot, directly before Har Sinai we deal with details and Mishpat, and immediately after Ma'amad Har Sinai we deal with the Mishpatim and the details, and in the center is Aseret HaDibrot. And when we see this structure, The question is, why is the introduction to Ma'amad Har Sinai, the idea of mishpat, of dealing with things that are not simple, and directly after Ma'amad Har Sinai, after all the excitement, mishpat. Mishpat before, mishpat after, Ma'amad Har Sinai in the middle. So says the Midrash, mashal. This is similar to a certain parable. L'melech shaya mehalech v'yesh klei milchama lefanav v'klei milchama le'acharav v'hu ba'emtza. Says the Midrash that this idea of this structure is similar to a parable of a king. And when the king walks in the middle, before you see the king, you'll see an army. And after the king, you'll see an army. Or if we want to take it to our days, if anyone has ever seen Obama come to the land of Israel, there are many, many cars before that are military cars. And there are many, many cars after that are military cars. And in the middle, you have this one little car of someone named President Obama. But what are all those cars doing there? And at a certain level, they're teaching something so significant. They're saying that the only way that you'll really understand that a king is there is not by seeing the king. It's not by seeing that car, because that's not special. It's about what happens before and what happens immediately after. Right before Har Sinai, there is mishpat. And right after Har Sinai, there is mishpat. And both of these are saying that the greatness of the relationship with Hashem is not measured in the relationship. It's not measured in the fact that Hashem is appearing. It's measured in the fact that we deal with details before Har Sinai, and we deal with details after Har Sinai, meaning that the details prove the greatness of the relationship. If anyone has ever been in medicine, they know that the goal of being a doctor is to save lives. And they sit for 7 years learning about the most little molecule inside a body. What makes a doctor great is not that they know that they want to save a life. It's how connected they are to the details of medicine. And so the Sefat Emet in 1877 says this idea, and he says, "Shekodem shezochin laTorah, tzrichin letaken pirtei hamaasim." If you want to earn the relationship with Hashem, the introduction was Yitro, which is Pirtei Ma'asim, details. And immediately after Har Sinai, Gam Achar Shezochin LaTorah, Tzrichin Ledakdek Biyoter Bapratim. Directly after that greatness of the Torah, we come straight down into the details of what it actually means to be in a relationship. So I think if we look at the structure, we can see that the introduction to greatness is how do you make simple great? And the conclusion of greatness is how do you perceive the reality of life? One of the most amazing sentences that I've heard from Rav Neria, he says what makes great people is can they see the little things with big eyes. If you see something big with big eyes, that doesn't make you unique. If you see Har Sinai with big eyes, anyone can do that. Can you see something small with big eyes? Can you see the potential? Can you see where this will go to? Can you look at a 16-year-old in a high school and know that this isn't a 16-year-old, this might be Rav Kook? Can you look at your children in home and know that when you're making a puzzle with them, recognize that that puzzle is a relationship between you and your child forever? And just to end our shir this week, I was learning with my chavruta, Ariel Marcus, about tefillah. And a lot of us view that the goal of tefillah is a relationship with Hashem. And we look at the experience of tefillah, and it's actually not that fun. There's a minyan, and there's a guy to your left talking, there's a guy to your right sleeping, and you look around and there's a sitter and it's telling you what to say and where to go and how to think and where to be. And at some point you say, like, Hashem, like, what is going on here? Like, I want to have a relationship. I don't want to be dealing with all these little details. Says Rav Kook, those details are proof of the greatness of tefillah. Maybe the challenge of tefillah, through the experience of dealing with the details of tefillah, is the essence of tefillah. My bracha to all of us as we enter into Parshat Mishpatim is to realize the structure is that the introduction to greatness is, are you ready to be involved inside details? And the conclusion of a moment of greatness is, are you ready to go back into the reality of the details in life? That's what measures greatness. That's what measures relationship. Shabbat Shalom.